So here we're going to go over some of the features and maintenance of this didgeridoo kit. So obviously have the main didge made out of agave with the hardwood bell cap. So this is ambrosia maple and a very dark wood called roasted ash. Very, very hard and resilient. We obviously have the Australian thunder opal. Needs to be seen in direct light for it to really pop. And then up here we have a 1.5" or 38 millimeter slip joint. So it's a female tube for the male tube that goes inside, and it's threaded here, so you can put a little bit of grease on these collars, on these threads. And I'm supplying some right here. This is just oil and wax. It's just avocado oil and beeswax. And this is the same stuff that you'll use to, give your didge a little bit of moisturizing, keep that nice satin sheen. If you get any scratches, you just rub a little bit of this on and then wipe it off with a cloth. Put a little bit of grease on there, just a tiny bit. And that'll keep the threads working really nicely. Also makes a nice hand moisturizer. So yeah, on here we can actually see that we also have an additional gasket here. So there's the outer gasket, and then there's also an inner gasket inside of here. And so we have extra gaskets in this included bag, and you can play with these. But here's another one that gets everything to align just the same. This works without this gasket. And actually, the seam of the two halves end up hiding really, really well here. But it doesn't perfectly align. In fact, actually it kind of aligns opposite. And this mouthpiece is concave to the lips, so it's anatomically carved. So it is directional. So you can either play it without, and the crystals can point whichever way they will point, or you can add these gaskets. I prefer the gaskets. It's just I prefer the additional gasket. It just gives it 2 lines of security when it comes to leaking air, leaking pressure. So that's how you put that gasket on. There's a bunch of other gaskets as well, just to experiment as, your didge gets played more and more and disassembled over the years. You might wear out the nylon slip joint gaskets. So there's one on this tube right here. There's another one right here. These can be easily replaced, and you can find these pretty much all over the world. So shouldn't be any problem. 38 millimeters. There's another one inside of this collar, so you have to use a little tool, a little sharp tool to pry it out, and then replace another one with. You can also play with these more grippy, squared off gaskets to just get different orientations of the rotation of the didgeridoo as it screws in. But mostly it should just work. A couple of little things. Here's one of the mouthpieces that didn't quite work out, but it's very small, so if you weren't in love with this one, you can cut this off, and you can actually glue this one straight on there, and then just polish up the rim of the mouthpiece, and boom. But this is really the best mouthpiece because you're playing a low B and a low G sharp on this, and so a small mouthpiece is very limiting for the techniques that you can play. So there's an extra lock ring here, and you always have 2 lock rings. There's a lock ring here, and there's a lock ring on the slide, and those all come apart. Now the mouthpieces, we have 2 different mouthpiece sizes, because smaller mouthpiece diameters are better for high keys. So this mouthpiece here is 29 millimeters. That's a pretty good size for about, I would say, D sharp up to about F sharp. So that's the keys we're trying to cover. This is 32 millimeters. This is good for those middle keys. You know, I would say D sharp down to B. That's a really good place to be. And these just slide off. There is a little glued in gasket in there. Again, you can play with those gaskets if these wear out. And what you're going to do is you're going to pop that on and kind of rotate it, slide it, give it some pressure into place. This way you don't have any leaks. You want to feel for any leaks. You can wet your finger and feel. Is there any leak coming out? Not in this case. So those are very easy to interchange. You know, so you find whatever your preference is for whatever various length of the didge you're playing. A little funky thing here is because this piece was designed after the fact, this one does not have the same robust durability that this piece has. The slide wouldn't work if we had this additional male piece to go along with the female lock ring collar. So this is when this piece is screwed into the main didge body, there's two chunks of metal holding everything together. When this piece is screwed on, you only have the threads and the lock ring. So you really got to be mindful to not flex this joint, you know, too much. Otherwise, over time, you know, there could be damage. So be mindful of that. You can play with gasket or no gasket. Again, there is a gasket inside of this lock ring right here. But then there's also the outer gasket. So 2 lines of sealing. Other than that, it's just the pack up of the case. So what I like to do is, you know, put all your goodies back in your little accessory bag. If you took them out in the first place, we'll cinch that up. I like to keep the mouthpieces, the wood mouthpiece, the Manzanita wood mouthpieces, on the slide tubes. I'm going to put this slide tube, this extension, over the main aluminum slide tube. And we'll go ahead and lock this on just somewhere, maybe lower. Maybe lower is better. Or mid. I don't know. You'll figure it out. Go ahead and lock that on. And we're going to put this mouthpiece, put that gasket upside down. I'm going to put this mouthpiece into the didgeridoo. This slide and mouthpiece into the didgeridoo. All the way pushed down. Okay, let's pack up. So what we have is this nice curtain upholstery fabric. It's actually pretty water resistant. Fleece lined. I'm going to put this piece in here. Go ahead and cinch it up. Put the main didge in the main didge case, which is ready to carry around. There's a little bead that's actually made from the center cuts of the mouthpiece. It's pretty cool. Oh, don't cinch that down yet. You're going to put this inside here. Just kind of rotate it while you push it in, because it kind of fits best a certain way. Go ahead and put that deep inside the didge. Tuck those strings in. You can pull that. Okay. Put this inside this case. Go ahead and cinch that down. This is going to go into this pocket right here. So flip that around so you can see better. Pop that in the pocket. Oh, first, put all of our spare parts and maintenance parts down in that pocket. There's also a couple extra bits of rubber and some straps for holding the Didge on the stand here, just in the pocket. Pop that, slide that in there, and then we can take our stand, go ahead and collapse that, tighten that down. Leave this one kind of loose so it can kind of move around as it slides in the case. I like to just kind of wrap my rubber around until I know it's not going to get lost anywhere. And now this fits in the pocket as well, just like that. You can cinch the pocket down if you want, tuck the beads in. There's these ties. There's these ties right here that'll tie on the slide so it's not going anywhere. And then the whole thing is going to fit inside your flying and shipping tube like this. Go ahead and push that in there real good. Might need to move this bead out of the way, kind of tuck all the cords so they don't get caught in the seam. Very nice padded bottom. Now this is a pretty tight case, so we have this adjustable strap here, make it nice and loose. Go ahead and clip it, and then tighten it down. Nice and tight. Ready for the airport, ready for flight. Just like that.